So this episode of Endo and Kobayashi was really good. There is not a whole lot to cover on this episode, though, as far as like things to actually really dig into. Here's the things that I really liked right off the cuff. I like how we got a lot of focus back on the lovebirds, Endo and Kobayashi. They got the privilege of, or I guess they got the task of going and commentating on a boys' basketball game for their school. They decided, based on Endo's views, right? Because Endo was talking to, They decided because of Kobayashi's view, because she had told Endo, like, hey, we're doing a really great job on this. I think to take it up to the next level, we should do what we do in the game. We should announce this like we do in the game, how we do in Jikkyou or whatever the hell the game's called. And Endo's like, yeah, let's do it. So they end up announcing one of the boys' games, and they kill it from a commentary standpoint, right? Like, they crush it from a commentary standpoint. So the president of their club, announcement club, commentary club, audio, I think they're maybe the audio club. Let's go with the audio club. I don't remember which one I'm going to go with the audio club. But the president of their club is like, hey, you guys are crushing it. Do the finals. So they do the finals match, and they crush it to a point of, like, they bring in a huge, huge crowd, and they get called the Lovebirds because they get told that they sound like a married couple doing, like, a gag reel, like a comedy skit kind of theme. And it's because as they're kind of commentating, they're like, oh, look at this big boy over here. You know that he doesn't have trouble reaching the top shelf. Or like, oh, over here is like, oh, I wonder if his teacher's going to give him a pass because he made the final shot. Really just kind of like funny commentary stuff that just really brings in people, and it takes a game that was probably pretty mediocre to watch, but it takes it to that next level when you have really engaging and funny and really good realistic commentary. And that's what they provided here. They crushed it. And they earned themselves the tag of Lovebirds, which, sounds a little demeaning and it might sound a little embarrassing at first, but, in the reality of things is, from Endo's standpoint, at least, he was the one to be like, oh, blah, 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 but from his standpoint, it's like he has everything to gain here because, like, as he's being tagged, Lovebirds along with Kobayashi, that's what you want. For him, it's like, that's what you want, dude. Like, you want that to happen. Because that's just going to push you closer to Kobayashi. Now, the adverse effect to that is if she's the negative one, she's the one like, no, pushy. She hasn't said no at all. She hasn't said anything, right? She's just kind of going with the punches. That's a good sign for him because that means that somewhere deep down, she likes him enough to, like, be associated with him in that level. So it's like, it's all a huge win for this dude. So I really enjoyed it. That was probably my favorite part of the episode that I'll spend the most time talking about. The rest of the episode, it was really Endo and Kobayashi really kind of giving them a heads up and giving them marching orders to go and save Liselotte for when she turns into the Witch of Yoring or gets possessed by it. So they basically all got tasked between 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸, between 𝐜𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐥, between Balder. They all got a task to go and do something specific. And 𝐒𝐮𝐻's task was go find Fabby-Boo, the little kid, which some really funny moments with him and seeing Lise kind of like associate herself with him. Really funny stuff. He was getting jealous of a little kid. And then 𝐜𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐽 and Balder went to go and recruit Lise's dad, which they had a really good moment. 𝐜𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐽 ended up calling him father. He had a really fun moment there. Really fun stuff. And then 𝐜𝐡𝐚𝐧's mom knows the professor, which they thought they couldn't get, which I think the professor's name was Bruno. And Professor Bruno was kind of like the hard-ass one. He might also be the one being guided by a player in Japan, too. So there's probably more to come there. But he's going to get recruited by 𝐜𝐡𝐚𝐧's mom. So that's how 𝐜𝐡𝐚𝐧's mom's going to come into the mix. So that's really all that happened this episode. It's just a setup for what's to come, and then gave us a really good glimpse at, again, Endo and Kobayashi really getting, closer together, doing something in the real world that has real value outside of the game, but taking the stuff that they're doing in the game and game knowledge and the way that they're kind of flowing and commentating on what's happening there, but taking that to the real world. And honestly, from a real world aspect, people that can do what they just did in that basketball game is tremendously valuable, right? Because think about how many sports games you've watched at a non-national, not NFL or NBA or World Cup or like one of the Premier Leagues or anything or MLB, whatever other sports exist. Like not one of the official leagues, but think about when you've watched maybe like NCAA or a minor team, or maybe you've watched, like, if you're a fan of football, like soccer, maybe you've watched like the Mexican league, or maybe you've watched like the French league or something. And you think about the commentating and the difference when you go up to like a top, like a bigger level, and the below is drastic. So they could have a career here, which I think is so effing cool. They probably won't explore it much because anime, but just the fact that it's a real thing like that, that's a need out there, and I think that's really cool. So those are just my thoughts. Really good episode overall. Double thumbs up. Really enjoyed it. Just not a lot of meat on the bone here from what happened, but regardless, I'm full. I feel like I ate good. Just not a lot to really go on here. It's more set up for what's to come. All right, let me know what you guys thought of this episode down in the comments down below. What did I miss? What was your favorite part that I didn't talk about? Let me know in the comments. If you have nothing to say, drop me an emoji just because. Just do it. Just do it for reasons. I'll hit the like button. I'll give you a little heart. And I appreciate that. See you guys next week. Deuce. Happy weekend.